All right. So we just finished Isaiah chapter 14, starting at verse 4, and we only went down to verse 21, and the whole idea was taking verse 4, which introduced us to the concept that there was going to be a proverb taken up against the king of Babylon. All right, we understand that that's America. Then the New Testament refers to it as Babylon the Great. The key verses was chapter 14 of Isaiah was verse 4, because it identified that that what was being discussed was a kingdom. Verse 12 referred to that kingdom as Lucifer. Verse 16 let us know that Lucifer was a man who had been oppressing all the nations and weakening the nations. And then number 21, or verse 21, let us know that all of Lucifer's children, which shows you, they ain't never read no scriptures about the devil having no kids. All of Lucifer's children were to be in the future slaughtered for the crimes of their fathers, plural. Showing you that it's not talking about one entity, but rather a kingdom and all the beneficiaries that the scriptures refer to as, in Revelation refer to them as their angels. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're still continuing breaking down the use of the word heaven as described or as used, as employed when discussing the dynamic in the world of men. For the most part, prophecies about the downfall of the so-called white man, the Edomites of the Bible, and their entire global power structure. So we're going to pick it up from that in with Revelations chapter 12. And we're going to read verses 7 through 10. Now, Revelation chapter 12 is a pretty weighty breakdown. But remember, we're sticking specifically with the verses that help to give you understanding on what the word heaven is saying in these particular verses and what message is trying to convey to you. So I want you to go ahead and start at chapter 12 and read verse 7.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
Now, one more time, read that again.
And there was war in heaven.
The reason why I want you to say that, I want you to read it again, is because we're going to call something to your attention in the beginning of this topic, DVD number 1, part 1. Remember, it says there was war in heaven. But what heaven? It goes all the way back to Isaiah chapter 34, where Christ said, let's do that, man. We got an hour or about 40 minutes by now. I don't know how long I've been talking. But go back to Isaiah chapter 34, and what verse did it say heaven? Is it verse 3 or verse 4?
Verse 4.
Okay, so you're going to read verses 1 through 4.
Isaiah 34.
Go ahead.
Verse 1.
What we're doing is we're showing you the war in heaven in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7 is talking, this is John talking about the same war that Isaiah, the Most High gave a vision to Isaiah in the Old Testament, and he said in heaven also. But before he said in heaven, he let you know that it was going to take place in the realm of men, and he called that place or that realm heaven. Go ahead.
Come near, ye nations, to hear.
So you see, we're doing a lot of rehashing. Come here, ye nations. Go ahead.
And hearken, ye people.
Let
the earth hear, and all that is therein.
The world, earth, people, nations. So this is not talking about a spiritual realm. Go ahead.
The world and all things that come forth of it.
Go ahead.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Now, when we read the description or the definition of indignation, it said righteous anger. Fierce, righteous judgment is what it said. So it's telling you the Most High's fierce judgment is upon all nations. In other words, he's what? Waging war on them. Go ahead. We're going to bounce back and forth because now I got what I'm going to throw in here. Go ahead, brother. Read it again.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Is upon all nations. Keep that clear. Go ahead.
And his fury upon all their armies.
Fury is another word for indignation, anger, wrath. Go ahead. And listen. And his fury upon all their what?
Their armies.
All of their armies. So in this instance, verse 1 and 2, He's addressing nations, he's addressing people, and he's going to pour his fury out on their armies. Now he's going to talk about those very same entities, but he's going to refer to them as different names in verse 4. Continue.
He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out.
Go ahead.
And their stink shall come up out of their carcasses.
Continue. Listen. Now we just read that in Isaiah chapter 14, where it said that Lucifer, this kingdom, when it was brought down, they weren't going to what? They weren't, say it again? They wouldn't receive no burial. So that's talking about when someone is, it said they're going to be laying out like, it says as the raiment of someone who was slain, thrust through with the sword. That's saying they're going to be killed and they're going to be looking like bloody clothes. So that's what that's saying. And the stink going to come out their carcass. Go ahead.
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
Go ahead.
And all the hosts of heaven.
Now, he referred to them earlier as the nations and their armies, or the armies of the nation. Now he's saying all the hosts of heaven. And we looked up the term host, and it specifically meant armies. So he's just coming back and using now a metaphorical speech for the clear speech that he used in verse 1 and 2. Read it again.
Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Now we're going to show you that scroll, alright? So when it said heavens is going to be rolled together as a scroll, got to put Jesus on his back, man. Matter of fact, we might as well go and flash that one like that. They can get a little look at that if they want to. So now read that again.
And
no, stop. Now, you have to read verse with the armies and stuff again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And all, verse 4 again. And all the hosts of heaven.
Start at the Lord heaven,
verse 2, sorry.
Yeah.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Now, the reason I love this sign, all nations, is because it shows you the Russians are represented here, and you got the Chinese are represented here, and you got the Persians or the Iranians. Now, when you read Ezekiel chapter 37, Ezekiel chapter 38, and when you read Amos chapter 5, and verse 18, it tells you it gives you the symbolisms of all the parties that are going to be involved in this war that he's talking about. Remember, this is still, this is giving you a detailed description of what John the Revelator saw in Revelation chapter 12 verse 7 when he said there was war in heaven. What he was saying was the world was at war. There was war in the earth. There was war in the realm of men, is what he's saying. So you got, like I said once again, the Russian military, the Chinese military, and the Persian or the Iranian military, and you got these two American soldiers bowed down. Because that's who they're coming at. So, read that again. He said, the nations, read again.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Now he's going to show you how the indignation is going to be. Go ahead.
And his fury upon all their armies.
So the Lord is going to be bringing all these armies so that he can pour his wrath down on them. But what he's doing is he's creating conflict in the realm of men first, so he can come at the last and have Michael and Christ or Yahushua intervene on our behalf. Go ahead.
He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
Go ahead.
Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved.
Now we went through that breakdown on the previous tape. We're not going to go through that again. That would be overkill. But it's showing you, this is how they're going to be dissolved. Go ahead. And dissolved with nuclear fire. Continue.
And the heavens,
meaning the skies of all of these countries that are involved, go ahead,
shall be rolled together as a scroll.
It's talking about a mushroom cloud. You want to pan in on that, because that's what a scroll looked like. A scroll was an ancient book that was in the form of a roll, that when rolled together, it was a solid tubular shape with puffed up extremes so that the actual animal skin would roll off of the initial bar that it was on. That's what it's talking about.